Well, a very good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to another Flight Deck to Sim live stream. Today it is the 5th of May 2023, 3 minutes past 4 in the afternoon here in the UK. Back in XP12, we're back in the ZIBO MOD 737. It's been quite some time since we've done a public live stream, but for the first ever time in XP12, we're trying out Active Sky X-Plane. Now, I've been a huge fan of Active Sky. I'm not in any way affiliated with them. I had it for XP11, and it was, in my opinion, the most accurate interpretation of live weather, looking at METARs, TAFs, significant weather charts as well. The good news is, I'm not going to leave you hanging all day. I did a test sector this afternoon, and I'm pleased to say all of that lovely goodness from X-Plane 11's Active Sky seems to be working quite well in X-Plane 12. It's still in beta Active Sky, but here we are in Aberdeen. We're flying to Billund, currently the windiest place in Europe, Billund, with 30 knots winds forecast, albeit down the runway. But here in Aberdeen, if anyone would like to get the METAR out for Aberdeen, we can see it looks pretty accurate. It's easterly winds, 3,400 metres visibility in drizzle, overcast at 300, 8 degrees QNH 1014, and as we get to Billund later, you'll see the very strong gusty winds as well. Now, the stronger gusty winds don't feel quite as gusty as it would feel in real life, but you're certainly getting changes in airspeed, and it's much better than the default X-Plane 12 weather, and Microsoft Flight Simulator weather's improved a lot, but the plugin here seems to be much better, far closer to what I'd expect real world weather to be doing based off forecast weather conditions with my experience. Anyway, let's zoom on in towards the aircraft. There's the wind in Billund, look, 090 at 26, gusting 41. It is runway 09 though, so no crosswind, but you'll see our approach speed today will be very slow indeed, and we'll have great stopping performance, which is all very well modelled here. This is the latest version of the ZIBO MOD 737, 5-7. I did a test sector, it seems to be working quite well. There's been big changes, I think, in, well, in my opinion, how the aircraft is pitching, which was a big area or issue, but I did a landing earlier. It was a little floaty, but much better than in previous renditions. We're going to be following my operator's SOPs all the way from A to B, cold and dark today. As usual, if you have any questions, feel free to drop that in the chat, and I'll get back to you where I can. We've installed some skimmeter wingtips to the ZIBO MOD 737 today, but it is, as I say, completely cold and dark. It's just the GPU connected with the air stairs extended and the door open. Daniel B, I think he's joining me on the sector. He's been downloading Auto4 XP. I hope you're doing well. David Bromwich, good day to you. I should be saying good morning, I think, to you, or very late at night, I think. Hope you're doing well, buddy. Domino Mosi is here. Liam Barwick, 0321 Sean, good afternoon all. Eddie Mambo, good evening, Captain. You lot love from KE. Where's that, Eddie? What country are you representing there? Pete, nice chatting with you Discord earlier. Afternoon, folks. A long weekend in the UK. Something about celebrating the coronation chicken sandwich. Unbelievable. I'm not a massive royalist, but I'd rather have a royal family than not. So yeah, very excited. My girlfriend and I, we're not doing anything in particular. We're going to stroll into our local town. I think they've got some celebrations. We're going to try and grab some free food or something, and then we're going to stroll back as well. I've got Jack at the moment. He's just in the hallway laying down. I had a very quick walk with him, about 15-20 minutes, just around the estate quickly. Had a walk this morning as well. So he'll probably pop in at some point during the chat too. Mr. Pye says, I'm currently in low, so is at Innsbruck, and all the Austrian Airlines Airbus got 2 letters above the flight deck. Any idea what they are for? I think it's just the last 2 letters of the registration, I believe, but it could be an Airbus thing there, Mr. Pye. Anyway, let's zoom on in towards the aircraft. I have to say, XP12 is looking resplendent. These are just the default stock airports, which, in my opinion, the stock airports in XP12 look brilliant. Look, all the stand numbers are correct. Ortho 4XP for the entire sector, but it's right over the North Sea, guys, today, so didn't actually have to download most, just 4 tiles, I think, in total. Anyway, in we go, up the air stairs. Oh, flawless. Look at this. Well, there I am. Oh, there we go. Let's get the show on the road as well. I've got the X checklist running in the background as well. Or, well, not the X checklist, the audio interactive checklist, which we'll use shortly later. So batteries on, GPUs on the bus. We'll check the bypass installed. It is. Electric hydraulic pumps can then come on. Landing gear lever is down. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 green lights, checking all the aircraft documentation, the tech log, make sure the aircraft is fully serviceable. Working our way down here, check the squibs, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 lights, fault test, fault tape detector in op, we've got master caution overheat detector, fire test, fire warning lights, engine overheats, wheel well lights on, overheat detector, fire warning bell, and the fire warning light and the master caution. Emergency exit lights we can armed. We'll push the attend button to test it. Let's have a look at our operational flight plan. I've got performance as well for the real OPT calculated based off the live weather conditions. Look at that, I updated it 6 minutes before the stream started. So we'll be using that. Let's go to the operational flight plan, which is here. So because of the winds in Billund, it's very gusty, sort of 40-45 knots gust. It's going to take an extra 30 minutes of fuel. It's something I probably do in real life. The whole of Denmark's quite windy, very tightly packed isobars on the significant weather chart causing those winds. So 5.8 standard block will take an extra 30 minutes. So that would be 5.9, 6.9. Let's just call it 7 tons. Alternate is Copenhagen, 2.5 tons needed. So let's get 7 tons of fuel uploaded. So, or uplifted, I should say. 7 tons will take 173 passengers today. So 173 passengers. Press enter, you'll see it hunker down on its gear. There you go. Boof. Got the 170 passengers on. Call for the fuel truck. And we'll simulate the loading of the passengers as well. Start flight leg. Right, so we won't put the seatbelt sign on yet because we are refueling. Working our way down here, flaps are up which match the indicated position. Check the takeoff config check. Of course I have a yoke cam on today, so there we are. Check the config warning horn, that's all working correctly. Stab trim cart switches are in the normal position. Why can't I move my head down? There we are. Cargo fire test coming up. Forward aft discharge, fire warning bell, fire warning light. Let's turn up the lighting here. 2000 standby, rudder and aileron trim is 3 and 0, gear extension door will check, circuit breakers are all in, overhead panel up here, check the flight recorder, need to wait a little longer for the stall warning test, back airspeed warning, iris to nav, circuit breakers all in, the captain's side, we'll check the safety equipment, the smoke goggles there as well. What are you doing, Jack? And the crash axe is installed, which is it the mod? No, it's not. Crash axe is located here. I'm not sure what my dog is doing. He is locating himself under... Did you hear that knocking there? Jack, there you go. Say hello. You're gonna say hello? Hmm? What's this, look? Ah! No, he's going to try and jump up on the desk. He's going to put his head on my knee. Oh, there we go. Right, on your bed then. Right, he's all excited for the King's coronation tomorrow, so I have to get him a little hat. Right, yoke cam is in place. Perfect. Right, there's no ATC here at all, I'm afraid. Edinburgh approach online. There's no Scottish Centre or anything like that. So we'll imagine we've got our clearance. There's no SIDS here. It's all omnidirectional departures, or they do have a departure procedure for runway 16, which involves turning towards the Aberdeen VOR, which is not in the direction we want to go, which we'll just do omnidirectional to the first waypoint. So, latest weather conditions are QNH of 1014, so we can preset that here. Let's have a look at the OPT for the MFRA. So the MFRA is 1215, so we'll set 1215 using the minimums. This is the height at which we accelerate in the event of an engine failure. That's all set. Turn up the panel lighting. We'll turn up gyms as well. There we go. And we can now load up flight management computer. So FMC is installed. Of course it's installed. FMC's latest version. We'll go to POS init. Aberdeen is Echo Golf Papa Delta. Echo Golf Papa Delta. We'll load in the GPS coordinates. And we're going to Billund. First ever time. We've been to Billund on a live stream, the home of Lego, ladies and gentlemen, if you didn't know that. Fox says you are using XXSim OPT preset or a particular plane preset for X-Plane. I'm just using a particular aircraft. So on the OPT, guys, the real OPT, you select an aircraft, but I've got a unique version of the OPT which allows me to select sort of a generic version. Call sign is Alpaca 12. X-ray Papa, departing from Aberdeen. It's runway 16 for us. There's an Aberdeen and a Glesk transition, so as I was discussing, we're not flying either of those today. Glesk is down there, Aberdeen's to the north. We actually want to head southeast in this direction, so I don't want to fly any of these SIDs in particular. Whether you have to for noise here in real life, I've never been to Aberdeen, I don't know. But we'll just do a nominally directional departure to our first en route waypoint, which if I close that, you can see is a Ratpoo. So it's going to be straight towards
right there. Fuel is all loaded up and you are good to go.
Thank you. We'll pop on the seatbelt sign then. Refueling is complete. Let's continue with the loading of the FMC. So I'll initially just select Glesk because the reason I've selected it is it generates a little 8-mile waypoint. The reason I want that 8-mile waypoint is if you look here on the chart, it just generates a little waypoint, so I want to get to 8 miles before we turn to our first en route waypoint, and we'll get rid of the Glesk waypoint in the FMC. So what we'll do, if we go to the next page, route, after Glesk, we'll just put Ratpoo like this, and then I'll tidy that up later in the legs page. So we're not going to actually go to Glesk, we're going to go direct to Ratpoo after that 8-mile point. So from Ratpoo, direct to Rivot. From Rivot, direct to Hrekner. Direct to Petal. And direct to Gelber. And Gelber, it's straight onto the ILS. There's no stars into Billund. Typically, going into Billund from the west, you get, if it's runway 09 and you just get direct to a 10-mile final. Typical Danish clearance, which is nice. Arrivals then, it would be ILS Zulu 09. None of these transitions, it literally goes straight onto the ILS. So you'll activate that, execute as mentioned. I'm going to get rid of that Glesk. We just want to go direct to Ratpoo. So what I'm going to do is go after 8 miles to Ratpoo like that. And then it's straight onto the ILS. Look, now there's a little bug here in the mod. There's an equal sign at Gelber. I don't know why. VNAV seems to be working much better than previous builds, but there's an equal sign there. There's also no decel points on the ND at the moment, but it does seem to be working okay with VNAV. Right, Billund was originally built for Lego, said Daniel. I had no idea about that. It was actually built for Lego. Amazing. GHO, hi Captain, have you loaded up your sims through Steam, please? So, no. Both Microsoft Flight Simulator and XP12, I don't run through Steam. They're their own individual utilities. So Microsoft through the store, I don't know exactly how it works. But no, I'm launching XP12 as a standalone utility. Steam I sometimes use if I'm playing 2 games on a stream, such as a longer flights across the pond, so I can sort of leave it to run other games, as I just said. Akatar says, I think I still have the driver's license I received in the Billund Legoland 2004. I think I went to, so if you're from the UK, most kids have hopefully at some point gone to the Legoland in Windsor. I've been, and I do somewhere, I don't know where, have a Lego driving license as well, my first ever driving license. So cheers to you, Akatar. We both have them somewhere. I do remember the small electric Lego cars there as well. Perfect. Lauren Ratpoo is off 18 to the south of Aberdeen. VOR, the SID probably would be fine. Now, the SID, Lauren, either goes to Aberdeen to the north after 8 miles, or to Glesk. I want to go this way, so I don't really want to go all the way to Latvia. But I looked at Flight Radar, I think they just get omnidirectional from what I understand. Are there any developers releasing a version of the 737 MAX? I don't know, Roy, at the moment. Now, Roy, did you DM me in Discord? I think, I'm just checking, I think, was it you that emailed me yesterday asking a question? I can't remember if it was or not. Roy, yes, Roy, I've received your message. I will get back to you on that. I am chasing up all the DMs of my last day off work yesterday, so I've got a few more to get back to, and then I'll get back to you as soon as I can. But thanks for your message anyway. But I don't know if there's any 737 Maxes actively sort of payware coming out. I know there's one for X-Plane, but I've not really used it before. Right, let's carry on with the performance. 0 fuel weight is 58.2, reserves to get to Copenhagen, it's the sum of these two, so we'll call that 2.5. That's in, cost index 30, cruising at 37,000 feet today. Cruise wind, despite it being very windy in Billund, the descent winds aren't actually that strong, but it, you know, heads up, active sky seems to be interpolating upper winds, METARs, very accurately, so they seem to be within 10 degrees, within sort of 10 knots, which is what they're sort of like in real life. So yeah, we'll pop in the top of climb wind there, average wind is 122 at 19. Execute. Top climb ISA is 5. Execute. M1 limits then. So let's have a little look at the real world OPT, which is here. So punch in all the information. This is the live weather as it was 20 minutes ago. So 1.6 via Mike 7 intersection. Runway's good, so good is used for wet runways. Surface wind, it was variable between sort of 090 and something like 090 is the worst case. So 090 at 10 knots, it's a 4 knot headwind, 9 knot crosswind, 8 degrees, 1014. Optimum flat 5 air conditioning auto. We're going to use NG anti-ice for departure because it's raining and below 10 degrees. We don't need improved climb. CG was very close to what we're going to get in the mod today, 20%. So 24k full. We couldn't take an assumed temperature. Looking for an N1 of 90. Oh, hold on, it's full 26k now actually. Yeah, sorry, full 26k. 97.7, 97.0. It's not the longest of runways here. So 97, it's 0.7 off, but when I put the AP bleed on, that will decrease to 97.0. And let's go here to takeoff page. Wet speeds. Flap 5, CG 19.5, so within 0.5%. Look at the trim, it's very close, 5.5 to 5.75. You're doing a good job if you can set 0.25 units of trim on this. So we'll set that there, and the speeds are all within 1 knot. You can accurately set it. And the mod, years ago, when I started providing feedback to the team, I checked the OPT against the mod and the level D sim, and the mod thrust output for every M1 based off external conditions is extremely accurate. I was actually going to do a comparison video between, because a lot of people have been commenting on the PMDG 737 saying it seems to be have a lot of excessive thrust, and it does. It is more powerful than the ZIBO mod, but not by much. So if you compare the two, you'll notice the PMDG probably uses 200 or 300 meters less runway, and on the climb out it has much better performance. I might do a little bit of a comparison video. I might get some footage from a level D, the mod and the PMDG, because I get a lot of people say, oh, the PMDG's thrust is perfect. It's not, it's too powerful. But it's not far off. There is very little difference. Yeah, the mod in XP12, I've tested it against the OPT on field length limited runways, and you know you're clearing the end of the runway by 50 to 100 feet as you'd expect with the screen height. Right, that's all set. V2 147 as well. Let's go from there. So your dampers on nav transfer display switches normal auto fuel. 4 pumps. Check the crossfeed. Bright, dim, bright, off. We should be able to do the stall warning test now. There we are. That's all done. Overhead panel here. All checked there. Window heat is on. Perfect. Voice recorder should be on. Trim air's on. Packs auto. 370 elevation in Billund's 250. Let's start the APU. Flight directors we can pop on. Let's have a look at the airport here. So taking off from runway 16, runway QDM is 159. 159. We still have that sort of syrup style rain in XP12. The wipers work. They do actually clear the rain, as I'll now demonstrate. There you go. Pretty cool. But it used to be really, really nice, but I think the graphics need to be improved. You can hear the AP firing up, which you do hear with the cabin door open and the L1 door too. We'll climb up to 6,000 feet. We don't have ATC. We'll imagine that's our stop altitude. Runway heading, of course, is 159 set. We'll tune the Aberdeen VOR, which I think is on standby. 14.3. It is 14.3. Flight director's on. Auto brake to RTO. Reset fuel flow. Just check the lights, which I should have done earlier. All good up there. MCP. Fine. Imagine Jim's been checked too. And they're all illuminated, except the wheel welfare warning. Perfect. Oh, I've gone to Australia mode. It does that still sometimes. There we go. Light test can come off. Just check the oxygen as well, just to satisfy the checklist items. That would fail it because the little yellow X hasn't appeared. Right, AP bleeds. APU's on the bus, sorry. Radio tuning panels all set. We can now disconnect the ground power. So I'm going going to go to ground services, disconnect, retract the air stairs. We can now close the doors. Pop on the AP bleed. Brief the taxi and Sid, go from there. Black Doctor, that makes sense actually. Feels like a clear runway's way too quick, even fully loaded at D rates. Yeah, it's it goes like an absolute beast, the PODG. If you go 26k, even very heavy, it pitches well above 20 degrees, which is it's way too steep there. Brendan, I thought the stream started at 4:30. Oh no, 4:30 is when I'm due off blocks. But we started at 4 o'clock. I only published it about an hour and a half ago. I've been locked in by, well, what should we call the number one today? I don't know. It's called a Jenny. Perfect. What else do I need to do? I think we're all set up. Let's just brief the taxi and departure. So we're on stand 5, pushback face north. We're going to go Mike, Delta, and then Mike. We're going to depart from Mike 7. We can go full length via Mike 9. Runway 16, takeoff run available. It's quite a short runway, look. That's why we go full 26k, look, 2,000 metres. It's the runway length, and as I mentioned, the departure, we're not following there's no SIDs, these are sort of noise departures. We're just going to go straight ahead. Direct to our first en route waypoint after the 8 mile point, which I have left in the FMC, Aberdeen 8 miles. So we're already 6.9, so as soon as we're airborne, we'll make that turn. Right, let's do the safety inspection before start checks. Thanks for subscribing there, SRK1 quadruple 3, hope you're doing well. Matt's one of the members, 17 months, thank you very much. He says, hi Captain, with an alpaca, hello, and thank you very much for joining in. Someone says, oh my goodness, we have a few people joining us in. Oh, well, that's a blast from the past, the original Flight Deck to Sim Alpaca Airways livery, Gen 1, let's say. We've got a few other people, a DHL ATR, he better leave now, he's going to be overtaken. Ooh, I'm all ATR'd out after the last couple of streams. Right, let's do the safety inspection
Safety
checklist.
inspection checklist. Surfaces and chocks.
Checked.
Maintenance status.
Checked.
Battery.
Remember, this
On.
checks the configuration, so if it's
hydraulic
wrong, it will tell
On.
you.
Landing gear lever.
Down.
Ship's library.
Checked.
Safety inspection checklist complete.
So I'll just call for better pushback, get that ordered. We'll do a nice short push. Something like this.
Ground to cockpit.
Oh no!
Plan acknowledge. Call me through the menu when you're ready.
It's Angry Brian! Here we go.
Ground to cockpit. Tow is driving
Oh,
up.
because I've already planned it, he didn't show me where to go. He's very angry sometimes. Right, let's do the before start checklist to the line.
Before start checklist to the line. IRS mode selectors.
Not.
Gear
Pascal's got it.
pins.
Removed.
Light test.
Checked.
Oxygen.
Tested 100%.
Yaw damper.
On.
Nav transfer and display switches.
Not again.
What? What do you mean? It's broken. Normal and auto. They're all fine.
Normal and auto.
Fuel.
So, operational flight plan, let's have a look at that. We always do this on the fuel part of a checklist. 5721 required, we've got 7 tons on board, and...
Checked.
Fuel pumps.
4 pumps on.
Perfect.
Cabin util IFE
Okay,
galley
all
power.
doors and
On.
hatches are closed.
Emergency
Ready to
exit
connect.
lights.
Armed.
Fasten belts.
On.
Window heat.
On.
Air conditioning.
PEX auto. Bleeds on.
Pressurization.
So, 370 and land out to 250 cents.
Set.
Pressurization mode selector.
Auto.
Instruments.
Cross-checked.
Auto brake.
RTO.
Hydraulics.
Normal.
Speed brake.
Down D10.
Parking brake.
Set.
Stab trim cutout switches.
There we
Normal.
go.
Wheel well fire warning.
Checked.
Radios, radar and transponder.
Set and standby.
Set and standby.
Rudder and aileron trim.
3 and 0.
Takeoff briefing.
Tow connected and bypass
discussed.
pin inserted.
Discussed.
Release
PA.
parking brake.
Right, just for you. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. From the flight deck, Captain is speaking. My name's Flight Deck Sim. I'd like to welcome aboard this Alpaca Airways flight to Billund. Joining me in the flight deck is Senior First Officer Jim, and in the cabin today, teams led by Jenny, Jason, Jill, and Jack the Second. All ready to go. We're pushing back shortly. Taxi out to runway 16, left turn departure over the North Sea, cruising at 37,000 feet. Nice flying conditions, but a bit turbulent on the way into Billund. And right now, later when the conditions in Billund, brisk wind from the east, and a few clouds around. Temperature 8 degrees Celsius. Camera crew will be showing a safety demonstration. Please pay attention. This is your safety and for those around you. Welcome aboard.
Complete.
So
FMC
careful not to say my
CDU.
operator.
Set.
N1 and IAS bugs.
N1 and IIS auto. V-speed set.
Stab trim.
Set.
Performance, weight and balance.
Missed anything?
Checked.
EFB.
Airplane mode and stowed.
Phones.
Off.
Flight deck windows and cockpit door.
Yes, we
Close.
only hire people
Doors.
beginning with J,
Close.
Pascal.
Passengers.
Seated.
Before start checklist completed to the line.
Right, oh, I better just Unicom, haven't we? Let me make sure that's active. And, oops, I've just got to be... I've got it muted still. Stand by. Where's my volume mixer? Just got it set up here. There we go. Aberdeen traffic, Alpaca 1-2 X-ray Papas, pushing back, stand 5. Perfect. So, below the line then, packs off, anti-collision light on, parking brake is set transponder. Let's just do the below the line checks.
Before start checklist below the line. Air conditioning packs.
Off.
Anti-collision light.
On.
Oh, look at
parking
this,
brake.
1 minute ahead of schedule,
Set.
guys.
Transponder.
Out off.
Before start checklist complete.
Perfect. Releasing parking brake. Let's go. Oh, he's pushing us already, even without saying starting push.
Starting pushback, and you may start engine.
Oh, cheers, Brian. We're on our way. Tug's a beast. We've got a Speedbird Nigel tug. I don't want to see that tweet I retweeted yesterday from that poor 777. Is it in LA or San Francisco? Absolutely hooned it. Felt really bad for them. Right, starting engine number 2. I have to say, this sim is looking resplendent. He wants you out the ramp ASAP, I know. San Fran ramp, cool. N2, N1, oil pressure, 25% fuel in. It may be Domino Mosina. Oh, what's happened now? Come on, Brian! He's having a mare! What's going on? Brian, I've not done anything. I've not... Is he moving? Oh, he's wheel spinning! Brent, what's going on, Brian? That didn't happen on the test sector. Brian, come on, Brian! I think he's wheel spinning. Brian's got stuck. I think we'll abandon. Right, it's starting engine number 1. He's trying, bless him. Right, well I can taxi from here. Right.
Aberdeen traffic, Alpaca 15 Yankee uniform, pushing back, stand 4. Aberdeen.
I told her to stop pushback. What's he gonna do? Brian, disconnect! I'm a bit concerned by nose wheel position. But what's the worst that could possibly happen? Right, starting 1. How do I get rid of him? I've never had this happen before. Oh dear, Brian's broken. Help him out with some thrust reverser. I might actually do that. It's completely not happy right now. I can't even stop. I can't even do anything else. You might have to kill it. Yeah, I might have to kill it for the plugins. Right, it's, 2 good starts. Right, I hope this doesn't crash or anything. You ready? Where are you? Better push back. Oh, killed. Bye, Brian. Right before taxi flow. Generator is on, APU off, start switches continuous. He's been fired. Probe heat on, wing anti-ice. Come on. Packs auto. APW is off. Isolation valve auto set. Flaps to 5. Flight controls. Full forward. Full back. Oops, I just realised not got into the right position there. Left, centre, right, centre. Rudders right and left. Recool. Blank the lower DU. And we can now read the before taxi checklist.
Before taxi checklist. Generators.
Bye,
On.
Brian.
APU.
Off.
Start switches.
Continuous.
Probe heat.
On.
Anti-ice.
On.
Air conditioning.
PEX auto. Bleeds on.
Isolation valve.
Auto.
Flaps.
Not again.
No, Jim.
Flips 5
Andy.
required and selected. Green light.
Stab trim.
Yeah, can we have a
Set.
rip for Brian?
Start levers.
Idle detent.
Flight controls.
Checked.
Recall.
Checked.
Before taxi checklist complete.
Perfect. Right, parking brake is released now. Back at 12 X-ray Papa with taxiing holding point 16. Right, do a quick config check. And notice how the engines don't spool up to some 60% like in the old PMDG. I do like the PMDG though. I just like to point out where places it's not very realistic, which is quite a few. Anyway, on our way. Lovely to be taxiing as well in this sim again. The taxiing is just wonderful. Physics just so much better. Like the aircraft, it just taxis like it should, like the proper 7.3. Sim's looking great. Wipers going. Look. So good. Right, I'll try and follow the line. So taxi guys, I'll zoom on in on my Navigraph charts. So we're going to depart via intersection Mike 9, so you can see we're going straight ahead, crossing Delta, then right, not going to take Charlie, a bit too narrow for us, then we're just going to carry on via Mike, and we'll take Mike 7, sorry, Mike 7. Was it Mike 7 we got the full? Yes, not Mike 9. Perfect. Right, let's do the before takeoff checklist to the line.
Before takeoff checklist to the line. Config.
Checked.
Flaps.
Flips 5 set. Green light.
Stab trim.
Set.
Takeoff briefing.
So we've got Pax Auto, bleeds on, wing and engine anti-ice on for departure. The wet speeds are 27, 37, 47 set on the MCP. The departure's omnidirectional. We're going to climb straight ahead to 1,200 feet and then 8 miles from Aberdeen via our right turn to the first en route waypoint, which I forget its name off the top of my head. It is directed to Aradpu. NADP2, any problems will climb straight ahead to the MSA, and that sector will go to 4,000 feet. So,
Reviewed.
Cabin.
Secured.
Before takeoff checklist completed to the line.
perfect. So we're all ready for departure. And the interpretation of the live weather now, I'm just going to update for Aberdeen. Visibility 1,600 metres now, rain and drizzle, overcast at 200, 8 degrees. It's all plugged in beautifully, and you can see, look, coming out of the cloud there, about, I'd say, probably not quite overcast at 200, but it's looking really, really nice. Airport's missing, thanks. Yeah, weather radar though, they do need to improve that. Right, let's take off then via Mike intersection. Alpaca 12 X-ray Papa's taking off runway 16. So we'll just check the radar. Yeah, no one on final. And we'll take Mike 7. So let's get the aircraft configured for takeoff. Now nav, auto throttle. We won't use the weather radar because it's not accurate. It just covers the ND and stuff there. So,
Just confirm your route so I can ensure separation. Logan 39 at upper X-ray.
what's that for me? Logan. I don't know if he wants to know my route. I'll be ahead of him. Right, below the line.
Before takeoff checklist below the line. MCP.
Set.
Transponder.
TARA.
Strobe lights.
On.
Landing lights.
On.
Before takeoff checklist complete.
Yeah, I'm super impressed with Active Sky so far. I did compare it to default, and it is much better. Right, cleared for takeoff. Oh, it's just a pleasure to be back in this sim. I just love it. Ah, right. 40%. What a lineup. What a lineup. A little bit more thrust. Stabilised. Set takeoff thrust. We're going to need all this runway here. Full 26k, remember. Jim, turn the wipers on, please.
80 knots.
Checked. Oh, wipers. Oh, stop trim. I'm going to try and turn the wipers on. There we go. It's not easy. Ah.
E1.
Hand off the thrust levers.
Rotate.
There we go. Yeah, and the mod's had so many improvements. There's the dead band, increased back pressure. Beautiful. Positive rate of climb, gears up. LNAV. And it's a sensible attitude. You know, aircraft do pitch up to 20 degrees and beyond it, but you mustn't go much more than that. Bug up. Oh, do that manually. Speed's come up a little bit high. There's 8 miles, so it's commanding the turn to Ratpoo. VT plus 15 accelerating, flap 1. And flaps up. I'll try and do a flyby in a second. Let me just get it in trim at the up speed. I think we're pretty much there now. And it's very cloudy. Ah, look at that. Perfect. So pitching up now. So mod should be not accelerating like that. Flight director's a bit slow. Flight director's a bit slow there. So command A and VNAV. Well, there's no ATC, so we'll climb up to our cruise level. So super zoom. Climb up to our cruise level of 37,000 feet. Set standard. Passing 48, flight level 370 after takeoff checklist. So gears off, water brakes off. We're not in clouds at the moment. Now these clouds though, I don't like. I love the overcast. You get the real impression of overcast. I think the graphics are nowhere near as good as Microsoft Flight Simulator in this respect, but because the overcast is just like a white blanket. But it can be like that, you know. Yeah, obviously it looks nowhere near as good as the other sim. Microsoft Flight Sim. Right, gears off, water brakes off, star switches off, air conditioning and pressurization 2.2 climbing. Set, release the crew, and standard set, passing 6-7 flight level 370 after takeoff checklist complete. Oh, the clock, yes, the clock. Blah, 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 just add 2 minutes to the timer. Does the live bedroom, oh my god. Rob G, the cloud looks like a bedroom wallpaper. You know what it looks like? Who remembers Toy Story, the first film? Didn't that wallpaper have cloud like that? But yeah, they need to improve the clouds, how they look here. But the overcast, sort of like blanket layer is good. It just needs a bit more depth to it. And over the North Sea, I think we sort of, I don't know if it's an active sky thing, it just sort of, I went Cavo Cave briefly, but as soon as I got closer to Denmark, it sort of loaded the weather back in. Yeah, we'll have to see what happens when we get along there. ETA is 41, exactly 1 hour from now. We're touching down in Billund. Black and Red, have you ever considered trying XEnviro? There's an XP12 version now, and it looks pretty good. I've heard of it, never tried it. Is it worth it? I don't know. Passing 105, flight level 370, pre-cruise check. So fuel 4 pumps, lights we can pop off. APUs is off, pressurization 3.5, and set, release the passengers, recall, checks complete. And off we go, approaching Ratpoo, over the North Sea, leaving Scotland behind, right to Billund, the city built for Lego, as we learned today. ZIBO, a ZIBO mod in our life. Look at that. Shadows and lighting in the cockpit's improved a lot. Can't remember when it first came out how poor it was. It looks really a lot better. Still a little dark in my opinion, but better than it did. Right, are you bricking it for the approach? It's a bit windy, and Active Sky on the test sector did quite a good job of. Well, it put the steady wind in really well. The gusts, though, were a little less intense as I did. If you have sort of 35 knots gusting 40 in real life, it's as the wind especially blows off the ground, the terrain, the trees, you get a lot of mechanical turbulence in the last 500 feet. That's not really replicated, but you are getting changes in the airspeed constantly, which you're having to correct for, which you don't get in Microsoft Flight Simulator. You don't get with the default X-plane weather either. So that's looking nice. Melky, what's your vertical speed? Right now we're doing 2,800 feet per minute. As we climb, that will slowly decrease. It's increasing now just as the wind changes. But we will maintain a fixed N1 all the way up to flight level 370 today. But oh, Moen! Oh no! Oh no! That went straight with my head. Moen, one of my moderators, said, "Are you bricking it for the approach?" But obviously, it was a Lego brick pun. I think some of the members might be making some Lego brick puns today. Unbelievable. Not funny. Not funny. What's everyone's plans for the weekend then? I'm going to stream obviously right now. And then I'm going to take the couple of days. My girlfriend and I are going to go into our local town, see what's what with the coronation. Might watch a bit of it on TV. And then a quiet day planned on Sunday. And then Monday, bank holiday Monday, I'm off as well, which is quite nice. Back to work on Tuesday. It's the sim a little bit loud. Cheers, David. 36 months as a member. 3 years. 3 years ago during the pandemic, you came on board there. I hope you're doing very well, my friend from Australia. If you don't like the Lego puns, block them. Oh dear. Where's my? Yeah, here we go. Unbelievable. Thanks, David. I see what you did there. Very intelligent, very clever. Thanks, buddy. Nick K. Hi, Captain. I know you've been flying a while, but do you still sit in the cap seat and pinch yourself sometimes? I don't pinch myself, Nick. I do sometimes look at myself in the mirror and go... I remember when I first got my 4 stripes and put them on my shirt, and I looked in the mirror before going to work for my first flight as a captain. And I won't use the exact word I said. But I looked in the mirror and went, you... Beep. But yeah, sometimes it's still it doesn't always hit me. And I went on holiday. I went to Tenerife 3 weeks ago, and it's been about 3 or 4 years since I've been a passenger.
30, 20, 10.
Thanks, Angry Brian's wife. I think I need to listen into this.
I'm a bit worried that my husband isn't coming back home from work. Do you know anything about him? I'm afraid something bad has happened. Please tell me, where did he go?
Oh no, I'm afraid, Angry Brian's wife, we've had a few issues with Brian. We had to move him along today. He got his tongue stuck a little bit, and yeah, I had to terminate him via the plugins menu, I'm afraid. Hopefully, we'll see him again on another stream. I'm very sorry for your loss, obviously. Angry Prize wife, thank you very much for your donation, though. Unbelievable. Yes, I do sometimes look at myself and think, oh, you know, I can't quite believe it. But yeah, I take my job seriously, but I enjoy my work. I enjoy interacting with my colleagues, having a nice day out, and yeah, I love streaming because I can have a lot more of a laid-back approach. And you guys obviously are quite interested, curious, in learning things too, and I enjoy teaching. So yes, I'm very, very happy with it all at the moment. Ross Cogswell, I beg your pardon. Craig has said he definitely some strong winds from Aberdeen on departure, and I think, yes, you hear me? Yes, you did hear me. I've just left Aberdeen. It wasn't too windy though. I think it was less than 10 knots, but where we're going, Billund, very, very windy. Rip Brian, yeah, it was nice knowing you. I don't know what happened. Well, the test sector worked fine, but today, oh no, but it's stuck. Rip Brian, killed by running over a Lego piece. Right, anyway. Oh, sorry everyone. Didn't mean to deafen you out there. Yeah, you can see these clouds. It seems to have gotten rid of the... Active Sky seems to have gotten rid of the massive sort of cumulus style clouds up at 37,000 feet. sort of get this sort of overcast here, but it's very flat. In real life, it's very layered, and obviously this looks not great. But hopefully, I don't know if is Active Sky injecting their own clouds or by default, or is it XP12 clouds they're using? V8 Motors, as you're a real pilot, do you ever suffer from earache? Pressure? I fly infrequently and get on descent, which lasts for a couple of hours, sometimes days. Over time, I guess your body becomes more accustomed to it, because it's something I don't even consider now. You move your jaw instinctively as you climb to equalise the pressure, but my ears just do it sort of on its own. I only have to move my jaw slightly. You get used to it. Descent's always far worse than climb, because on the climb, air's trying to escape. Is that right? And then on the way down, it's going to go in. But yeah, everything's trying to get out. But yeah, if you have problems with that, make sure you choose something that usually helps. They are as bad as default. Yes, the Active Sky. Oh look, now I've been plunged into IMC. I think no, it's just those clouds there. Yes, hopefully there'll be some depth and changes to clouds. But what Active Sky isn't, it's not about changing the clouds. It's an accurate interpretation of live weather. That's what's important. So the winds are very realistic. We'll do some wind checks against the flight plan, and the way it plugs them in, the visibility is improved as well considerably. So sort of descending into a cloud layer looks like you're descending into clouds. It doesn't just change suddenly too. Jessica Hunt, thanks for the 14 months as a membership. I hope you're doing very well, madam. Thank you very much for your support. 4 stripes if you've been a member for over a year. Thank you very much indeed. Sava, what time is it in your country? It's 10 to 5 local time, 16:49 here in the United Kingdom. Fox, I do understand you could potentially be a colleague. I do wish you would just ask a little less sort of questions directed to potentially our operator if you do work with me, but those sort of questions I'm not going to answer, buddy. No, they use XP12 clouds. Fake 0321 short. Where's Will? My friend Benjamin used to fly in and out of our destination so frequently that he became synonymous with the place. Billund Ben, he was known as. Really? Brilliant. Prince, Capitano, in your real world life, do you ever get bored of flying the same route? Yes and no. Sort of, if you want a nice easy day, you fly somewhere familiar, it's a nice day out, but I also enjoy flying to different places. We've got quite a few, loads of different destinations from operator, and I flew out of base on Wednesday, for a couple of days, which was quite nice. Flew somewhere different for the first time, so I found that sort of yeah, it's sort of a bit exciting, so it's like a bit different. But yeah, it's if you're doing the same, sometimes you can do sort of the same day 2 or 3 times in a row. That's a little repetitive. Ross match the heading, yes sir. Or did I just do it instinctively? There you go. Hayden J. Robbins, I'm sorry, that pun has already been stated. You're about 15 minutes too late. Bricking it pun has already been made, I'm afraid. Karen Bizid, burning question, how does the AIRAC get updated in real life? Via a computer, a laptop, which is plugged in to a receptacle in here, and it's very slow. I think it takes about 35-40 minutes. Well, I remember having to do it on a turnaround once, and it took 35-40 minutes. But yeah, it's done by the engineers. Hello, Floodegg737 says, hello mate, how you doing? Hope you're okay. Very well, thank you. On our ZIBO MOD stream. Coming to flight level 370, bank angle 10 degrees. Yeah, look at the weather radar. It just has this sort of yuck. Looks like bacteria on an AGAR dish. I think we'll turn that off. So you either have Microsoft Flight Simulator PFG where weather radar doesn't work at all, or X-Plane where you just get the ND full of weather. Black Cobra landing gate for non-precision approach isn't 500 VMC and 1000 IMC. So yeah, it's not based on the approach type. The landing gate is based off the VMC IMC conditions. So we define VMC, my operator, visibility in excess of 5,000 meters, cloud base over 1,000 feet. Is that a picture? That's exactly what I
50,
said, Ross.
40,
Brilliant.
30,
I didn't even have to do
20.
that.
10.
Thanks the £2, buddy.
I find myself £2 for my repeated joke.
Unbelievable. No worries, buddy. Thank you very much for your donation, though. It doesn't matter. Supersonic Nigel, how is the ZIBO and XP12 these days? Has the rotation handling improved? I'm going to say it now. Yes, and on landing, much better with pitch inputs. If you are using XP11 still, and you maybe exclusively fly the ZIBO model, fly the ZIBO model a lot, come over to XP12 now. I uninstalled XP11 months ago just because sort of progress with the sim was at a place where I wanted it now, but it is progressing along a lot better than it was at launch. So yeah, it's handling well indeed, and on the flare there, but on the rotation there, nice, with back pressure required at the depth bound, just like with the real aircraft. Oh, Astroju, that's 3 out of 10. If you have a bad approach, you'll have to execute a leg go around. Oh, that's awful. Hello, John Mark. Good afternoon, or good evening, good morning to you. Dundalk, is Autoland routinely used for anything other than Cat 3 approaches? So at my operator, we use them for Cat 2 or Cat 3. They're mandatory. Some operators, I think, do Cat 2s to a manual landing. But we can also do a practice Autoland at any time onto any ILS, even a Cat 1 ILS, so long as the visibilities and weather's above a predefined criteria. But you've got to bear in mind the runway might not be protected. The airport's obviously not going to cater for your request if it's a busy one to sort of use different hold points, etc, etc. But you might have to be prepared to disconnect, obviously, if a metallic object enters the critical area, such as a plane, a vehicle or something like that. But yes, practice autoloads can be attempted at any time. Rob G, I hope the runway isn't made of Lego, well done. Daniel B, I still have 11 because some aircraft haven't been updated and some I don't want to pay the fee to do so. Yes, a number have requested a payment in the sim, others haven't. So for example, I think Rotate's the latest one for the MD-80. They've done that as a free upgrade. Was it free? Or maybe correct me if I'm wrong there. Some have, some haven't. I don't exactly know what work's required. I know ZIBO's had to do a considerable amount of work to make the mod work in XP12. William O'Neill, I'll never let go. Oh, brilliant. Ross Coxon, what's the difference between Cat 3 and Cat 3B? I think Cat 3B sort of is rollout included, and you have slightly lower minimums. We're only approved to Cat 3A. Black Cobra, in which cases do you use improved climb in the OPT there? For times when you have sort of obstacles on departure or terrain, you need better climb performance. We're very, very lucky these days to sort of don't have to work everything out manually with the tables. You can sort of put the data in here. If it's not happy, you can adjust things such as flap settings. The OPT also has the ability to check your climb grading with 2 engines, which might be a requirement on certain SIDs. And if you can't make that, it's usually an engine out SID to fly or something like that, or you have to request a different SID. Sorry, the Rotate update was not free. And the MD-11 update was free, the MD-80 wasn't. Got you. My biggest request for an aircraft from XP11 that I want updated to XP12 is the FlyJSim 737-200 and 727, which I believe is coming, but there doesn't seem to be much information. I miss the 727 and 737, but they do need to fix the pitch in the 737-200. It's very broken. It's been a long time since we've done some classic jet flying. I mean, we flew the MD-11, but that, you know, has got an FMC. No, we need to do some old school stuff. Felis, I reckon. There we go. It's a good excuse to get that out of the hangar. Anthony, thank you. Will you be giving away a copy of the ZIBO today, boss? I will, yeah. Concord as well. Yes, I've already got the update for XP12. Brilliant.
1,000 to go.
Sean Boyle, would you consider flying the sim in VR? I've tried VR, the PS5. I liked it, but I found it quite disorientating. If I was to stream it, though, it would be it'd be awful for you. You know, you wouldn't want to watch it. KFC Turbo Captain, can you please explain isobars? What they are, look like, and how do you use them? You mentioned them before. So an isobar, it's a line on a weather map which sort of shows you the joins where equal levels of pressure are. So an isobar is sort of represents there, and when they're quite tightly packed, it means the wind's stronger. So you know, if you look online at an atmospheric chart or a significant weather chart, it'll show you isobars, and yeah, it's just where there's a line of equal pressure. Crawling up to 370, and yeah, this now the clouds looking out at this perspective look quite nice. Well, they don't look nice, but they're sort of better than they were with default X-Plane. You wouldn't get sort of cumulus style clouds here. These are the style of clouds you get up here. They just need to be a little bit more detail to them and a bit more depth. Actually, a lot of equal pressure you would know, be an ex-meteorologist. David Bromwich, I'm working on more Lego puns, but they're taking time to put together. Unbelievable. There we are, 370. Oh no, VNav. We now select max continuous thrust to ensure that we have more thrust available in case we get into a low speed situation. There we go. There we are, top of descent is going to be at 16:22. About 22 minutes from now, 23 minutes. Hey Captain, what are some of the things about the ZIBO you like? It's the handling, and it's really thanks to XP12. So ground physics, exceptional, and that goes for all aircraft in this sim. Takeoff, landing, the rudder, it's just, we all love takeoff and landing, don't we? It's the best and most exciting part of flying, real life in the sim, and the way it works in XP12, in my opinion, I know other people have different opinions, and other people who only use Microsoft Flight Simulator love Microsoft Flight Simulator, won't actually try X-Plane. It is far more realistic in this simulator with your peripherals. It doesn't matter if I'm using the Boeing yoke, the Airbus side stick, the my Logitech Extreme 3D Pro. It just works great, and the mod has been made with input from real pilots who have flown not only 737. We've got X74 pilots. Flown the 7.2, a number of NG pilots, MAX pilots who provide input or have provided input to ensure that this handles as closely to the real thing as possible. And for me, it is the quintessential desktop 7.3. So yeah, don't get me wrong, and I'm not bashing Microsoft Flight Sim. You know how much I love Microsoft Flight Simulator. I think my streams are sort of 50-50 these days with them, and it looks amazing. And every time we stream it, we're always like, wow, that looks super. But it just doesn't feel right, takeoff and landing, to me. It's good, it's not bad, it's not unrealistic, it's just more realistic in X-Plane. Straticast, do you know when the ZIBO is going to be fully finished? I don't think it ever will be. It's just chipping away at little bugs that we see here and there, but it'll be an indefinite project as long as ZIBO is willing to put the work in. Talking about X-Plane developers, Toto's here, the maker of the Challenger 650, one of the most detailed aircraft in any simulator. I believe your aircraft's available in X-Plane 12. I must contact you at some point and fly, but I am a very busy man these days. To the question on the Cat 3A is answering, the 3A gives you decision height of 50, that's what we have as well, only requires failed passive, which is only what our 737s have, which I knew, but the 3B gives you decision height of 0, requires auto rollout and fail active autopilot. 737 has dual autopilot, so cannot do fail active. So Toto, you can have that as an option from Boeing. You can have fail operational, and I'm pretty sure fail operational on the 737 you could do Cat 3B, which has the rollout feature. Our 737s are only, at my operator, are fail passive, so they have no rollout feature. As soon as the main gears touch down and the nose wheel it hits the runway, we disconnect the autopilot and it's just rudder. Which, when you've only got 200 metres of visibility, is still quite an interesting experience. Welcome aboard there, Villard Evoken. But yeah, thanks for popping in, Toto. You're doing very well. Scarebus driver, not just your opinion. Scarebus driver, would you agree with what I said there? Scarebus driver has commented on a number of my videos, some really good input as well, and I think were you involved in one of the Airbus add-ons? I'm not sure, but yeah, real Airbus pilots for sure. Toto, I see that they need another autopilot computer and third independent lock isolate receiver. I think, yeah, so it still has dual autopilot, but it has an extra, you know, I don't have any information about this in our manuals because obviously we don't have it, but I think there's some input on the rudder, or the autopilot server is connected to the rudder in some way, but I don't know anything about that. Anthony is Alpaca Airways double climb brought to you by Lego. Coincidentally enough, someone put a pile of them on my front step. I don't know what to make of it. Unbelievable. Right, we haven't got long to go, guys, so we'll start setting up for the approach. But already, this sort of love this. Well, sort of get these lines here, but this sort of overcast conditions, it looks better than the default sort of cumulus style clouds you get here. So you know, put it this way, guys. All streams moving forwards, I'll be using Active Sky X-Plane. I think it's, as I said for X-Plane 11, it's a must. In here, I'm already super impressed with it. Now you can see, look, the winds are very light here. Let's have a little look at the winds here. And the winds are actually unusually going to increase as we descend into Billund. Let's have a look at Rivet and Reckner. Flight plan was generated about 3 hours ago. So you can see here, Rivet and Reckner, winds 106 at 17, 137 at 13. I think that's pretty much bang on, look. And they were working out my way through the flight earlier. But to be fair to default X-Plane weather and Microsoft Flight Simulator, is quite good at putting those in there. Paul Criselli, no fixes yet. No, we'll start putting those in now there. Let's have, yeah, that looks good, doesn't it? Stratocast. This is much better than the default. And you'll see as we descend and fly into the overcast cloud conditions, you get that real impression of the depth of clouds flying into it, as long as it is. I don't actually think it is overcast, but it's just windy. Right, let's start punching stuff in the FMC. So 250 below 100 is in. Forecast winds. You can see they're pretty steady. It's very unusual. We've got 30 knots gusting 40 down at Billund, but the actual wind at 10,000 feet is 163 at 14. It's very unusual. 310, 200, 100. Remember, the mod uses a proper idle path descent path, so it's important to insert these winds accurately so the aircraft can go idle thrust, pitch for the path, and be close to its target speed. 200 is 187 at 21. 100 is 163 at 14. Executes QNH in Billund is 1022. Executes, we'll preset the QNH here. 1022. Pop in the fixed rings for runway 09. Straight in approach day 10. 4. And 3 times height, so 37,000 feet, so 111. Should be roughly where top of descent is. There it is. Let's grab the charts. There we go. Let's zoom on in. Billund then. So we'll grab the charts. Look, stars, 0 stars. It's straight in onto the ILS here. The flight plan terminated at a waypoint called Gelber, and Gelber, look, is right here on an 11-mile final, so it's literally a straight in ILS, which you get a lot of airports. You're quite lucky. You can actually get direct to a 10-mile final at the cruise level. Had it several times. So starting at the top of the briefing strip, 109.75 is the ILS, so we'll make that active on box 1 and box 2. I don't think there's any VOR on the airfield here. No, it's just RMP or ILS. So 109.75 is active. The course is a 084, which we'll set here. And set here. So frequencies, courses, minimums for a Cat 1 ILS. 550 metres with all the lights, and 200 feet AGL, 415 feet above the ground. So we'll set 415. Perfect. And briefing the approach then, we're going to come straight in, direct to Gelber. We can then step down to the platform altitude of 2,000 feet. The final approach fix at Oslas at 5.6 DME. It's a 3-degree ILS. We always check the glide path against the FMC. It's another thing PMDG doesn't actually model. 3 degrees checks. There is a bug here. Why that's saying equals, I don't know. We've got a weird blinking speed here. But it's what I like to be at 200 knots at Gelber. 11 miles looks good to me. It's 120 miles direct there. If we have to go around, I'll push Toga once, called go around, flat 15, set go around thrust, pause rate and climb, gear up to 400 feet. We can execute LNAV, tune the radius for a missed approach, and the missed approach is climb straight ahead to 2,000 feet, contact ATC. If you had a radio failure, you'd make a left turn to this waypoint, but no, it's just runway heading to 2,000 feet. MSA, where they are JEPI charts, 2,300 to the northeast. We'll go to 3,000 feet if we lose situation awareness. Cool. Fuel, we're arriving with 3.4 tonnes into Billund. Let me grab the operational flight plan, see what the alternate is for Copenhagen, how much fuel we need. 2.5, so we've got an extra, yeah, we've got the extra fuel we took, haven't we? 30 minutes or so, looks good. We're going to burn 1.4 tonnes before landing, so landing weight's going to be 61.6, so 61.6. Now we've got a really strong headwind, and we love headwinds as pilots because it increases your landing performance considerably, and it's quite conservative, so a tailwind on a landing runway has a factor on it. 150% headwind, they only use 50%, I believe. So we'll put it all into the landing calculator, if I can find it. Where is it? No, it's not going to be underground services. There we are, landing performance. So runway 09, latest surface wind is 090 at 25, gusting 37. Really windy. So 090, we don't put the gust in, we'll be conservative, we'll put the least wind in, which is 27 knots. 27 knot headwind. Well, temperature is 8 degrees. 8 degrees. Welcome aboard there, Garrett Baxter. Thanks for becoming a subscriber. Hope you're enjoying the content. 1014, 61.4 landing. Now, VREF edition, ZIBO's already done it. We're going to add 13 knots to our final approach speed. It's half the steady headwind component, plus the full gust. So technically, you could be VREF plus 15, but I don't like bugging VREF plus 15 because you're only 5 knots below the maximum speed. So I usually just keep it between VREF and VREF plus 20. You're doing a good job. Definitely won't need flat 40. No credit for reverse thrust. Now, look at the stopping performance here. So auto brake 1 is off the end. Let's just have a look at the runway here. So 09 we're landing on, it's 3,100 metres with the displaced threshold 2,950, the glide slope beyond 2,672, so that doesn't take any of the air time into account. So you can see here, look, auto brake 3 is 2,000 metres, you know, you're using half the runway with the headwind. Mike is where we want to vacate. You know what, auto brake 2 should be fine, and I don't know if this is factored with the mod, but auto brake 2 should be fine for Mike. We can always brake manually if we do that. So we're going to go flat 30. Auto brake 2. Oh yeah, 61.6. What did I say? 61.4. That won't make much difference. There we are. Still the same. We can actually use auto brake 1 now, but auto brake flat 30, auto brake 2. We'll go second E10 reverse and stop from there. Perfect. Yeah, loving this cloud though. Much nicer. Right, that's all done. Hand over control back to me. Jim, thanks.
Descent checklist. Pressurization.
Set.
Anti-ice.
Off.
Approach briefing and fuel.
Discussed.
IAS and alt bugs.
Checked and set.
Descent checklist complete.
So a little concern of mine in the mod. We've got 3 set. Oh no, to be fair, the optimum's much higher. We've got quite a large margin here between the minimum manoeuvre margin and MMO, but it's not too far off actually. We're about 1,500 feet below optimum. Right, let's catch up with chat here. I think a lot of people have been chatting here. AJ, isn't barrage just short for barometric pressure? And QNH is a way to measure the barometric pressure? Yes, pretty much. Chris cutting off to pick up the children. Pause the flight for a while, please. Yeah, just pause it, everyone, for Chris. Wait for him to come back. Mohammed, what does reverse thrust credit do? So reverse thrust improves stopping performance. However, if you're using auto brake on a dry runway, you're not going to get any improvement in your stopping performance with reverse thrust because it's a fixed rate of deceleration. What it does do, it lowers the amount of braking force required, so it helps with brake cooling times. But on a wet or contaminated runway, reverse thrust is really important for improving stopping performance there. Washi Extreme, I've never found the link to download the ZIBO. Am I the only one who had this issue? If you want, I can grab the link for you. Give me 2 seconds. Let me just fire up Discord. Or if one of the mods could grab the link for the public ZIBO mod. It's in the ZIBO mod channel pinned comment. Toto said, I know the 787 is a technological marvel. The 737 is a lot more agricultural. I agree with you, but I like that. I like that in it. AJ, not a fan of the clouds. No, I agree. They don't look anywhere near as good as Microsoft Flight Simulator. But also it sort of looks like to be radiating out. But you'll see as we descend into it, it does look better. I remember Active Sky, what we're using today isn't about improving the clouds, it's about improving or the interpretation of live weather. With regards to graphics, not as good as Microsoft Flight Simulator. Scrolling up here. Thanks everyone helping answer some people's questions. Dunduck asks, what is the speed reference knob? So it basically allows you to manually select your speed. So I can open that up there, change my speed, the auto throttle will make then the adjustments to speed up or slow down. And in descent, it allows you to pitch, if you're in VNAV, you can open this window and the aircraft will pitch for that speed. Or if you're on the path, it'll stay in path and the aircraft will accelerate. There was a logic change to the VNAV about a year or two ago in the 737. Will Edward, John Deere made planes now, brilliant. To all the members, don't forget we're organising a new members time trial. It's going to be in the Ferrari F40 around Monza. All the information's in the gaming racing channel. So you go, Will, look, you remind me of sim racing. I can't wait to fire up the F40 then. What's your favourite feature on the 737 NG? What I love about the 73 is it is essentially a stick and rudder plane. So when you disconnect the autopilot, there is no in-between middle computer or anything like that. You are directly moving the elevator, you're directly moving the rudder, directly moving the ailerons. So it's a proper aeroplane in that respect. Obviously, you're moving the hydraulic actuators, which moves the controls. But yeah, it's a stick and rudder plane. Speed reference above the upper DU. What are you referring to? Oh, this is to manually bug speeds in the event. This. So yeah, in the event of an FMC failure, all this information comes from the FMC. So the N1 bugs, the VREF, the weights, the VR. If you have an FMC failure, this allows you to manually select speeds, your VREFs, the white bug as well. The same with the M1. So these are for FMC failures to use the information to put into the aircraft. Yeah, I'm ready for the Miami Grand Prix. I'm actually the first time able to watch a race live. So yeah, that's on Sunday evening UK time, isn't it? It was a bit of a... Wasn't the race last year a bit sort of a bore fest? I'm not so sure. Yeah, take a dive on in, Wes Will. Come join us on the time trial.
50, 40, 30, 20, 10.
Just Stratocost. Thanks for the $5, buddy.
Captain, what are your go-to pilot shoes? Cowboy boots?
I don't wear cowboy boots at work. I just wear black shoes from a reputable shoemaker in the UK. Clark's I go to. Yeah, size... well, I've got funny shaped feet. I've got one foot that's size 10, one that's size 9, and a bit between. So yeah, I usually have 10 with a insole. Now I'm going to get banter from everyone. But yeah, great question. Thank you very much. Not cowboy boots. Unbelievable. So yeah, Dolno says sometimes 9.5. I love Clark's great shoes. I do. They're great quality as well. You go to Tesco or a supermarket and get some shoes there, half the price. They don't last as long. I changed my shoes about 3 months ago at work. My old ones were Clark's as well, and they've done about 5-6 years. But they were getting a little tatty. Also, what's quite funny is the top of the shoe, it sort of has it had like a crease in it, and that is genuinely from pushing the brakes on the 7.3 and pushing the rudder pedal. Like, they get a crease on the top. God, Yankee Fox, I've not read that. Report about 7.6 water leak from a bathroom frozen and controls cause complete loss of roll authority. Nasty. Roll authority? How did the water from the toilet get to the ailerons? Or was it just the hydraulic system? Patch Retriever M&S shoes are very good. Oh, I've never tried them. Right. Would anyone like to drop in the latest METAR from Billund? We'll talk a little bit about gusty wind conditions and how you sort of deal with them in the 7.3. You know, I'll give you sort of a heads up. Active Sky does a good job in plugging in the steady wind, and the gust is modelled. It's a little sort of slow, the gust increases. I think they need to tweak that slightly. And also, in real life, I think Microsoft Flight Sim might be a little better at plugging this in here. There's a lot of mechanical turbulence of strong gusty winds, trees, buildings, other aircraft. It really whips up the wind in the sort of last 500 to 1,000 feet. You really do need to be positive with the controls on the aircraft to sort of keep it stabilised. And it's constantly jutting around and jumping, even on hot days. Yesterday when I landed, it was about 15-16 degrees. Not hot at all by sort of global temperature standards, how high it can get, but there was a lot of thermals, and it's actually, you know, you get kicked up with one of these at 500 feet, you have to sort of really pitch down quite a lot. It wasn't particularly windy either. Dynamo seen a drain master in up, so the water somehow got into the main landing gear bay. Nasty. Thanks, Metal Lego, said David. Thanks, Daniel, for getting the Metal. So 290 at 21, gusting 31. Okay, so it's dropped off a little bit. It was 40. This was the windiest place at midday in the whole of Europe, Billund. That's why I'm flying there today. It has died off a little bit. Let's hope it stays gusty. It's a shame it's not a crosswind, but still, you know, you'll see the gusts change. You'll see I'll have to make thrust changes to keep the speed within the VREF to VREF plus 20 gate, and we'll respect that. You know, if I'm at the gate outside of that, we'll fly the missed approach. Right, approaching top of descent. 7 miles to go. It's straight in on the ILS now. So what we'll do, we'll just set something random. 90, and then we'll let the aircraft descend. No ATC, I don't think. I'll double check. No, nothing unfortunately. I did try and look out for a VATSIM event, but no, I wanted to be done by a certain time today. So having a look at the VATSIM map, I can see a few is there. No, unfortunately, no ATC. There is some in Oslo, but none in Denmark. Abby, speaking of, do you know 5 things, essential things you always carry on a flight? Not really. I've got my flight bag near me. Ugh. I'll show you inside it. Would you like to see inside my flight bag? I'll show you. As long as there's nothing obvious from my operator. No, there isn't. Here's my essential. Oh, try not to knock the flight controls. Well, this is a first on a live stream. There you go. Let me get my yoke cam on. Top of descent in chat. I'm just going to monitor VNav, make sure it's doing itself. There we are. Here is my flight bag from Amazon. So I've got my A20s. There you go. Absolute must. Both A20s. About 10 years old now, but they've been refurbished twice. My mug, my bottom mug. I should get sponsored by them, shouldn't I? Great for hot water teas. What else have we got here? Ah, this is an essential. A bag of tea bags, soup, hot chocolate. Whatever you like there. Calculator. This is my calculator I did my GCSEs on for the most popular reasons, the fuel density check. A bag of food. I'm not taking it out there. Oh, there's twiglets. There's twiglets in here. Grabbed them the other day, and that's it. Nothing else. Now I won't go. Ooh, I don't want to show you that. Actually, is it my private stuff from our operator? But here is a little documents file, and I have things such as important documentation. Oh, speeds. This might need a bit of speed brake. Now I need to get this fixed in the mod. I'm just using speed brake here. Far too effective still in the mod. Especially at lower speed. Look at the rate of descent change. Just get back onto the target speed. There we go. Spare pens. There you go. There. And no partially cooked things there. I've got my license in here. So there's my ATPL, which I'm not going to show you inside. It's just all my personal information. And in the other side I have my spare glasses, which I have to carry. It's a requirement if you wear glasses. Carry spare glasses and my sunglasses. So there you go. A first look in my flight bag. Speed windows, that's why. So it's bugging for the speed. Always in level change. Why did it... did I select level change or did it go into level change? If so, that's a bug. I'm going to turn the music off there. So it's in VNAV speed now. The reason it's in VNAV speed is it's gone above the profile. So what we do, we'll increase the speed in VNAV. And then when it captures the path, you'll see VNAV speed will transition to VNAV path. Yeah, Alan Jensen, I might get the 3A30, but there's nothing wrong with my 20s. There, so back in path, close the speed window, otherwise the thrust levels will come up, and then we'll monitor it now. So the mod's pretty good at remember, this is completely idle. It's built a path based off the information we put in the FMC, so it should roughly hold the speed. But the real aircraft sometimes has trouble matching the speed, and you just add thrust as required. But most of the time it's pretty accurate. Perfect. Marmalade sandwiches, no. You can get my E6B in there. Brilliant. It's funny how pilots carry a spare pair of pants, so I didn't show you those, Dunduk. Daffy, tell us more about fuel density checks. Yes, every sector we do a gross error check, and we calculate the expected uplift in kilos. Times that by the fuel density, which is typically 0.79, and that gives you the expected uplift in litres. Then you get the actual uplift in litres, times that by divide that by 0.79, and it has to be within 200 kilos. If not, you have to get the tanks dipped. Now, when you have huge amounts of fuel, which obviously compared to a 7.4 is different. I don't exactly know how they do it, but on a 7.3, a long sector, 15 tons plus fuel, you can sometimes have a discrepancy of more than 200 kilos. If not, if that happens, you can get the actual fuel density from the fueler, like the accurate one. We always use 0.79 by default. But yeah, you're just checking to make sure that the fuel that's been uplifted has been put into the plane and not gone anywhere else, that's all. Where's your Alpaca employee badge? That's in my bedside table. Pete S, thanks for the 29 months as a member. I think that's going to ping up any second. Do you carry your passport in case you go tech and run out of hours? Great question. Yes, passport is in my license, which I showed you as well. That has to be carried at all times because, yes, if we overnight somewhere, I need to enter that country, so I need a passport. So, yes, my passports would be at all times at work, as it is with the cabin crew and flight deck. Right, looking out the window, this happened earlier, guys, so I think over the North Sea it doesn't have any input of weather information. You can see the coastline coming in now, a Danish coastline coming in. As soon as we get close, I think it gets the low local weather, so I don't know how they're going to sort of simulate that, because it worked in XP11, didn't it? I mean, I've certainly done cross the pond in XP11 with active sky and we had clouds and things like that. So over the North Sea, I did this on the test sector. After a while it seemed to clear up, just be sort of hazy, and then as we got closer to Billund as we are now, it loaded in the METARs, but it did it in a very smooth way. It didn't seem to jerk or anything like that. Hello Adam, you've got an airline interview next Tuesday. Hopefully I'll be flying with yourself someday soon. Any tips? Well, maybe. Best of luck with you. Thanks for respecting my privacy. Not really any tips that you wouldn't probably know already. Just look online. There is a really good book which I had, the ACE Technical Pilot Guide. Some people don't like it. I quite enjoy the information there. Went through that. Yeah, best things to look online, and best of luck. That's all I can say. Daffy, one of the most weather harsh areas, and they don't have weather there. A bit disappointing. Yeah, it's not loaded in yet, Daffy. And I think, to be fair, it is windy, but it's not actually sort of. It's 10k and clear, so actually it's accurate. Yeah. So well, that's Billund anyway. Oh no, it's saying overcast at 10,000. No, there should be some clouds then, but it is otherwise 10k. What other airports are on the coast? Can we check the METAR for? We've got an airport here, Eschberg. Let's have a look at the weather there. Yeah, broken at 7,000, so there should be some clouds now. Sus. Well, it was very good leaving Aberdeen, but I'm pretty sure the weather had loaded in by the time I got to the certainly before I saw the coastline of Billund. There's another bug in the mod. In descent here, we're using a cost index of 30. We should be doing 273 knots. The cost index descent speeds are all broken at the moment, so I must let ZIBO know. But you can see it's holding the target speed quite well. It's about 10 knots too fast. This happens in the real aircraft too. Usually if it goes fast, there's a bit more parasitic drag, and then it comes back down that way too, but it also can be slow. It's doing an okay job. That's it, Adam. Good luck. There we are. Well done. There it goes. So, I think if you're over the sea when there's nowhere to load in weather, it does eventually load in. So there we are. Remember, it said overcast at 10,000, broken at 7,700. So now these clouds, again, the detail isn't as good as Microsoft Flight Simulator, but there's much more depth to it. So you can see as we descend in, turn on the engine anti-ice as well, you'll see it does look like we're flying into cloud. There you go. You can sort of see the wing. It sort of goes a little bit in the mist too. So I do sort of like that. It just needs a little bit more sort of detail and depth to them, that's all. Crank up the sound slightly. See, look, there's actual proper drop of visibility in the cloud now. We've never had that in older simulators. Look at that. So you can put the engine anti-ice on, that doesn't help. There is too much drag with the speed brakes. I'll go back to flight D10s. Oh, I can actually pull it beyond flight D10. It should stop there. Maybe. That could be why I'm doing it, because I'm pulling all the way back and it's actually going beyond flight D10. In real life, there's a little catch there to stop you extending it beyond flight D10. 300, to be fair, that sort of speed brakes are a lot more effective. It's actually not too bad. We'll try again a little bit slower. YG Extreme, which mod are you using for sound? No mods. This is the default ZIBO mod. So if you've just joined the stream, welcome on board. We're descending into Billund, where there's some very gnarly, strong headwinds. We're testing the latest version of the ZIBO mod 737 with the latest beta version of Active Sky for XP12. Very impressed with it so far. Not sponsored at all or affiliated, but I'd 100% recommend getting Active Sky if you're going to use XP12. Much better than the default. Look what I mean by the clouds now. So we obviously didn't look good, but now we're coming underneath this sort of stratostyle layer of clouds, a bit of rain as well. You can see the ground. That's actually really, really nice. Much better than these sort of randomly generated cumulus clouds you get with XP12. So there's the decel point for 250 knots. Aircraft's going to pitch up now and command reduce it to 250 knots with idle thrust. Yeah, this is much nicer. There's the coastline of Denmark with Ortho 4XP. Much nicer, much nicer. So we should have the message here, drag required, but it's not coming up. I'm making notes of this. The drag required, the equal sign on the legs page.
1,000 to go.
Checked. So we're going to descend now to 3,000 feet. QNH is set, passing 9,900 for 3,000 feet. I'll use speed brake now to get back to 250. Now I'm just going to hold it. I'm not going to go beyond flight detent. Let's just look at this. Yeah, it's a little bit too draggy. Not far off though. A little bit too draggy, but not far off. It's over 10 degrees. Anti-ice can come off. And now we have a little bug again. There should be a decel. There's an equal sign there. There should be another bug for decel for Gelber for 250 to slow down. It is slowing down. We're just missing the decel point, so no decel. Right, we'll do the post-cruise checks as well. Fuel, 4 pumps, lights coming on, logo not required, angle of bank set to 25 degrees, pressurization 2.9 sets, verify seatbelts on recall, and checks complete. Flight slopes now coming alive. Who remembers in XP11 where the range of the ILS was rubbish? It was like 12 miles, now it's proper. Look, 27 miles, we picked it up. That's exactly as you would in real life. You can't use it because you're outside of its DOC, its operational coverage area, but it will display the glide slope and localizer. Bit of rain, but it's 11 degrees. Look at how the wind's picking up as we descend into Billund. So that glide slope's looking obviously like we're low, but remember we need to pitch up and slow down from 250 knots as well. The VNAV's improved in the mod. Are we bogering today? We'll sit. No, because I need to get dinner on. Boga or Lego? Boga is butter or go around. If I don't butter, I have to go around. Mandatory. Oh yeah, Black Doctor. You could pick up an ILS and localize at 50, 60. I've seen them at 80 miles out. Obviously, it's not accurate, and if you arm approach, you're going to have a violent ride because it will scallop load. So you can only really use localizer within 17 miles, glide slope within sort of 10, 12 miles. Once for dinner was actually sort of tapas, but I need to get it all out. We need to unpack it. I've got some stuff to put in the oven as well. Martin Kiel, welcome aboard as a member. You have been a member in the past, I believe. So welcome back. Thank you very much for rejoining. Hope you're doing well. Hope you come back into the members only Discord. Enjoy using the custom emojis in chat as well. Thank you very much. There we are. So again, there should be a decel point coming up. It's put me where I'd expect it. This is a real good test for the mod today. It's doing a reasonably good job. So there's a few little bugs which I've pointed out here. Here's the beautiful Ortho. I'm a big fan of Ortho 4XP. There are some clouds on here though, but it does look extremely nice. Beautiful. So that decel point, it should be here on the ND. It has not appeared. This equal sign. It will do it. It did on the test sector. So you'll see that the magenta 250 knots will start reducing here. Mark Scott, don't forget the recorder for landing this time. It's explained. It's always recording, and the replay tool is the best on this. You'll see the aircraft behaviour on the replay, guys. It is so nice in this sim. There we are. There's the decel. Not on the ND, so the aircraft's going to pitch up now in VNAV. Slow down. We've done an idle thrust CDA all the way from the cruise level. Aircraft's nailed it. And as we pitch up, you'll see the glide slope coming up. ZIBO's definitely tweaked and improved on VNAV here. Got a good headwind here as well. Very strong. You'll see on the landing here, with the profile of the aircraft, the deceleration is much improved. Right, localizer's alive now, so I'm actually going to use vertical speed. You can use any mode you like. Use the MCP as a toolbox. I just want to get onto the glide slope here. I'm going to bug the speed back as well to help it slow down. Localizer's alive, approaching 12 miles. So arm Vorlock initially, and we're in 1 dot now. So this is a bug in the mod as well. When you arm Vorlock, it will never turn right like this. It'll keep on heading, wait for the localizer to come to the aircraft, and then turn left. It won't go right then left and left then right. It'll sort of stay wings level. I've never ever seen the aircraft sort of turn towards the localizer like that. We'll go flap 1. The flap track model on the mod now is really, really nice. The headwind really helps out too. Okay, we're in a dot approach arms. Although these should be brighter. These should be bright, these lights. Flap 1, flap 5. Glide slope capture, missed approach altitude 2,000 feet set. Billund traffic, Alpaca 1-2 X-ray Papa is established. Isla Zulu 09 Billund. Don't think there's anyone else on frequency. Flap 5 then. With that headwind I expect a little bit more deceleration actually. 10 miles, let's monitor it. Our ground speed's only 185 knots. It's raining 10 degrees. Probably should have engine anti-ice on here, but there is the airport there, and you'll start seeing the gust coming in. The changes, this headwind will start changing as we get close to the ground, as it would in real life. And these gusts are a little gentler than I'd expect. There's no mechanical turbulence in the sim, so you don't have to make as many sort of positive inputs as you would perhaps in real life, but you'll see the airspeed changing as it did in active sky in XP11. We're going to go flap 10 here, below 210 knots. I was commenting on how nice the track model is. It's too slippy. With this headwind, you know, we should be slowing down a lot quicker here. Alarm the speed brake. Bit of noise here with my speed brake at the moment. There we are. Slowing down now. We did turn the engine anti-ice on, then we turned it off again because it warmed up. Actually, it's now 9 degrees, so I am going to turn on the engine anti-ice. There we are. You know, I'm going to see these changes here. Love the sound of the rain on the windscreen as well. I think just in case it does start. Is it actually raining in Billund? No. I think that could be just putting in random rain. There's none there. The wipers aren't doing anything. So again, I'd expect it to be a little bit more sort of bumpy now as we get sort of close to the ground. Our ground speed's nice and slow, and you can see, look, with the gusts now changing. See how the airspeed's changing? In real life, it'd be changing a lot quicker with these gusts. Right, gear down. This works. Flap 15. Landing checklist. 2 flaps.
Landing checklist. Start switches.
Continuous.
Recall.
Flap 30.
This.
Oh, I did forget that.
Checked.
Speed brake.
Not again.
It's armed. It's armed.
Armed. Green light.
Landing gear.
Damn.
Right, so I'm overriding the auto throttle here. Now this is nice. These gusts are great modelled, so I had to put in a lot more thrust there. Landing gear's down 3 green. Oops.
Down 3 greens.
Auto brake.
Auto brake 2 set.
Flaps.
Not again.
It's set.
Flaps 30 set. Green light.
Landing lights.
On.
Landing checklist complete.
Look at these gusts. Look at the auto throttle changing to this. That was great. So I'm actually, it doesn't actually override it in real life. You can override the auto throttle at any time. But look how the speed changes. In real life, this would be changing a lot more violently. Well, violent's not the right word. A lot quicker. So you can see here. Look at this. Look at the wind change and the airspeed increasing, and look at the auto throttle reacting. This is really good. It's good to see. It's just in real life a little bit more sort of aggressive with that check. So really nice to see. Right, I'm disconnecting the auto throttle. So it's my job now as the gust comes in. I need to add thrust now. Look, add thrust, add thrust, add thrust. Get that speed. Don't let it get between VRF and VRF plus 20. Keep it in there. The gust then reduces. You've got to then just keep it on your target speed. Disconnecting the auto throttle. You'll see the speed changes again. These changes are a lot quicker in real life. Ooh, where's the glide slope going? So I've noticed the flight directors are so more sensitive in the mod. They shouldn't be as sensitive as this. So again, it's a little bit steadier now, but you'll see the airspeed will change very quickly. You just need to react to the airspeed changes quickly there. So I'm going to reduce thrust. You can see it's getting a bit low because I don't want to be more than VRF plus 20.
500.
Oh, someone's asked me to contact them. I'm literally on a 200-foot funnel. Right, so the gusts are coming in. There's another gust. Add that thrust, add that thrust, add that thrust. Keep that speed on your target speed. 3 reds, a little bit low. The flight directors are a little off here. I need to let ZIBO know checked. It's not bad, but the gusts would be a lot more violent. Have a look at a landing of a real 7.3. Look at the speed changes in gusty conditions. So there's another gust. Add the thrust. Add the thrust. Continue. Yeah, I think they just need to make it a little bit more violent. Check. There's another gust.
50. 40. 30.
Oh, so much nicer in the flare. It's a little bit too light and I flared a little bit too high, but it's much better than it was. Keep the wings level. Oh, floaty! Come on! Oh no, speed breaks up. reverses. It's improved so much. Previously in the mod you had to flare like that, but it's improved. Oh, look at the ground speed, look, 60 knots, cancelling reverse, manual braking. The performance, guys, with a strong headwind is crazy. Look, we're doing 84 knots airspeed, ground speed 50. You've got so much, the profile of the aircraft, I was explaining to the members, you know, you've got all this headwind pushing on the aircraft. You really could anticipate disconnecting or cancelling reverse and taking off the brakes, because you've got all this headwind pushing on the plane still. I'm doing 30 knots ground speed, but look, we're still indicating 60 knots. You just let the aircraft and let the headwind slow the aircraft down there. So yeah, really nice. Talking about the mod, big improvement in pitch. I don't know what's been changed, but during the flare now I don't have to yank the yoke back. It's as I'd expect it, even perhaps a little bit too light. And active sky, the wind modelling, not bad. The steady headwind component, very, very good. The gusts, it's definitely changing the airspeed, and I'm having to react to that so much better than the default weather. They just need to increase those gusts. The gusts can change. Well, have you guys walked in gusty conditions? You feel it, don't you? It hits you, and it's like, oh, you know, I need to make those inputs on the controls here. It's just a very steady change in the gust. They just need to change that. I've been talking like a madman. I'm sorry, guys, but I hope you appreciate the information I'm sort of feeding in there, and you can perhaps use that to improve your sim there. Right, anyway, let's vacate. I mean, this guy's told me to contact him. He told me to contact him at about 200 feet. We'll get our taxi onto stand at least. Instructions 121 375. 375. And the same goes, you can actually have a tailwind. When you've got the flaps out on a tailwind, it pushes the plane. It's like a sail. Right, this is centre. And we'll just get the taxi charts up. Look, this is why I love this sim so much. The wind is pushing us. Look at us, I've gone idle. And I felt it sort of pushing us along a little bit there. Ah. I think someone's just been cleared to land, but I'll check in and I'll get some taxi instructions for us. Watch the replay as well. Yeah, I floated way too long there.
15 uniform wind is 090 degrees 21 knots, gusting 31 knots, runway 09 and clear to land.
Halligan's graphics do not look good. Well, it is X-Plane. It's not as good as Microsoft Flight Simulator. And this is an ortho tile here. Centre, good evening, it's Alpaca 12 X-Ray Papa. Just landed in Billund, sorry, we're only coming into land when we missed your ping. Request taxi, please, understand. Oh.
Flight level 380, inbound Pepsi, 10 speed, and we are different in our flight plan due to the new ATIS at Copenhagen, and so we are on...
Oh, he's a message and a half.
Arrival.
APU's coming on. I might just disconnect, guys.
1331, Copenhagen Control, hello, you are identified. No, negative, standby, report position.
We'll call it a day there. You know, he's very busy, but he came in a little bit late there for our landing clearance to be put in there. Cool, so yeah, we'll do the cleanup, transponder out off 2000, we do usually on stand, but we've had that all day. Order brake to off, flight directors can come off, full bug, the speed 2100. We're going to take a right turn here in November, and then we'll go straight ahead. We'll go to Legoland. Strobes can come off, continuous, can go, sausage to off, continuous, pro beat off as well, APU is already available. On the bus, perfect. Yeah, it's a must, I think. Active sky, much better than the default weather. Having said that, you know, the gusts in X-Plane default weren't always. It was sort of like the variable winds, how they're always changing. I never liked. They just need to tweak how gusts are modelled in the sim there slightly. Right, we'll taxi straight ahead. We'll just go to stand 38, which is directly ahead of us. Great to have been back in the mod. Definitely updated this version. There's a few little quirks and bugs, but absolutely fine to take online. Really impressed with it. Nice to have done it in a public stream again. It's been a while. Talking like a madman, but nothing about how much better ground handling is in XP12. I don't need to say that, Martin. It's a pleasure to taxi around and land and take off on this sim. We did discuss it earlier. You might have missed it. So we'll take stand 37 here on the left. And this is don't forget, this is a default airport. A default airport. They just look so good in this sim. Shut down 2. Just make sure you're at idle first before doing that. Oh, what are you doing? It's Brian's brother. Come for revenge. No, Brian, no. Ah! Oh dear. The crazy ground crew in these sims. Yes, X-Plane default does pip Microsoft Flight Sim default, but having said that, some of the quality add-ons available in Microsoft Flight Simulator scenery-wise they are exceptional. Right, we're on 2 blues, 1 red, engines dead. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Billund in XP12. It's still raining, but not raining though. There we are. Let's do the transit shutdown flow. So we'll pop that on. Anti-collision light can come off. Reset the clock. Open the door. Do the transit shutdown checklist, do the replay, call it a day.
Shutdown checklist. Electrical.
EPU on the bus.
Oops. Fasten belts.
Off.
Probe heat.
Off.
Anti-ice.
Off.
Voice recorders.
On.
Air conditioning packs.
Auto.
Engine bleed.
On.
APU bleed.
Off.
Exterior lights.
Looking good so far.
Checked.
Start switches.
Off.
Auto brake.
Off.
Speed brake.
Down D10.
Flaps.
Up, no lights.
Parking brake.
Set.
Start levers.
Cut off.
Weather radar.
Off.
Look, I didn't forget
Transponder.
anything. No! Spoke too soon.
Standby.
CVR circuit breaker.
In.
Cockpit door.
Unlocked.
Shutdown checklist complete.
There we go. Another stream. Let's have a look at some of the comments before we do the replay. I won't connect the air bridge as well. There's Brian's brother looking for his... She's going to try and avenge him. Domino Messina, thank you for popping in and moderating. He says, let's go to Legoland, let's go. Solomon says, why no Microsoft Flight Simulator? Love Microsoft Flight Simulator, but XP12 has significant benefits over Microsoft Flight Simulator with regards to aircraft handling. In my opinion, having said that, I do really like Microsoft Flight Simulator, some of the add-ons too. I stream both of them on this channel. Toyota says, I'm flying in Billund with stock X-Plane weather. The gusts feel much nicer than you had there with Actives XP. What's the time? You know what? Shall we whack it on a 10-mile final with live weather and see what happens? I've got time. I've got until 6 o'clock. I'm happy to do that, guys, because I would actually like to compare that, because I've got a funny feeling it could be better there. Let's do a little encore, perhaps. Let's just have a look at default weather and compare it in the 2 streams. I was planning on doing 2 sectors to compare it, but I think that would be a good idea based on what Toto said there. And it should work with the recorder. No, I think I would be able to do both replays still, Domino Mosini, if I remember rightly. So, if you'd like to, I could quickly do an encore. Let me just make sure I'm off VATSIM, and let me just disable Active Sky here as well. Make sure it doesn't conflict in any way. So I've just turned off Active Sky, yes. So looking outside, I think it just goes to default weather after a short while. Let's have a look here. Yeah, I can whack it on a 10-mile final, you see. It's a bit messy in the mod, but I can just quickly whack something in the FMC, get me some speeds, get the weights and up, and go from there. Let me just try and get some default weather here in as well. So if I go here, I'll firstly go to clear all weather, customize clear of it. That's not clear though, is it? I think what it does, it feeds it in. So what we'll do is do that, apply changes. So there we go, there we are. We have proper clear cav OK conditions. And now we'll put in default weather. So we're going to go here. We'll go to download real weather. So this is X-Plane's interpretation of weather. Let's do a quick check there. Hopefully it'll work. Just now, done. Apply changes. Let's have a little look around first as well. Okay. Ooh, this actually looks nice with the clouds. Let's have a look with the gusts. Right, now what I can do, it's messy, but I can put the aircraft on a 10-mile final, quickly tidy it up, and I should be able to get everything done before landing. So change location, customise. Oh no, we don't want to go back to Aberdeen. Sorry if you're from Aberdeen, but you know what I mean. EKBI, Billund, customise, special starts. I want to be 10-mile final. Okay, confirm. Make sure I've got engines running. Start new flight. Right, this won't be pretty, but we'll see how it compares. It'll be, otherwise it would be unfair to not compare it. Right. Give me 2 seconds. Let's get the aircraft stable at 2000. So add some thrust. Woo. Stop the music now. It's going to go to flap 5. So I'm just going to whack on the autopilot. Out hold. Flight director's on. Okay, out holds in. Vorlock. Localizer capture. Auto throttle's in. Slow down, slow down, slow down. Come on, auto throttle. Speed brake. Just going to get something in the FMC, and I need some weight as well. Oh, what was our payload? 179 passengers. Sorry, I got the exact weight. It's about that. FMC. I just need the weights in. Index. This is not easy. That's in. Flap 30. There we go. Gear down. Flap 15. Match speed. Right, let's see how this is. Flap 30. Stone speed brake. Just going to add a lot of thrust here because I don't want to stall. There we go, water throttle's in. FMC speed. Right, flight director's off, not bothered. Won't make any difference. Right. So this is default weather now. Let's get established on the ILS. I don't have my minimum set, and I don't have the QNH, so it's 1022. Yeah, 1022. Disregard, there will be no minimums call here. So we're all stabilised now, so auto brake 2, star switch is continuous, recall, speed brake, armed, landing gear, down tree green, auto brake is set to 2, flap 30 set, checks complete. So we've got 26 knots steady here, 25. Disconnecting. Seems to be quite steady now. That's a good position I've got in there for you guys, so you should be able to see the wind. Don't tell me the live. I'm just updating the live weather. No, it's still 22, gusting 33. Yeah, I'm gonna have to definitely to put. Oh, that's my fine. I just wanted to move my head position there. Oh, the flight directors are so sensitive in the mod now. You can't accurately fly them. Right, set the target 57%. Well, I'm not seeing any changes. 26, oh, there's a little change. 27, 28. 30, 29, 28. No, at the moment, I'd say active sky was a little better. Checked. I'm having to add a bit of thrust now. 29. There's gusts. God, these flight. I'm just going to get rid of the flight director. Right. It's sort of the same. I can't really. Oops, a little freeze there. It's sort of steady at 27. It's sort of the same in my opinion. It's not really sort of like gusting around so much. So I think both default and active sky just need to sort of feed in this gust a bit more. You know, you'd be making much more positive inputs in these conditions. It's good, but I actually preferred how active sky did the gusts. I do think the clouds look a bit better though with XP12 default.
400.
Kind of glad I did this. Be very interested in everyone's opinion in the comments section below, and I think getting a little bit higher there. I think Q8 Pilot did a comparison stream, so I saw him tweet about it. Might have to have a little look at his.
200.
Right, let's see if I can butter this at least. But no, I've got no gust at all now. It's steady 24. It is changing on the ND, but it is no. Active Sky was better.
50, 40, 30, 20,
Close. Right, speed brakes up, reverses. The landing was better. That was what I should have done on the first one. Yeah, that kind of headwind is really helping with the stopping performance. There we go.
Really nuts.
Right, what we'll do, we'll vacate the runway and we'll do the clean up, and then we'll do the replay. But yeah, interesting to compare. I got very little gust there, less so than Active Sky. I think Active Sky's injection of the Metar winds was better, but both of them need a bit more oomph with their gust. If I had time, I would have done the return sector, and it would have been really good to compare directly, but I just don't have time. Maybe I should do a stream with two of them there, but yeah, for me, yeah, Toto. So maybe something different there, but it'll be really interesting. I really just need to sit down and do loads of comparisons between the two. But Active Sky's wind was better than defaults there. But having said that, I do like the clouds, and they're looking a little more in depth. Interesting. I think more comparisons between the two would be required. Bill, does it discuss settings that can be changed regarding this? Yes, they're all on the exact same settings I had in XP11, which I had noted when I tested it, and they're pretty much the default ones. But they're not limited in any way. They are all, you know, it says it'll gust up to 100 knots, steady wind up to 100 knots as well. So yes, we'll vacate the runway, and I'll just do taxi down here, just more for the replay, and then we'll go from there. It could turn into Catherine Tate. Am I bothered? I didn't say that. Thank you 0321 Short, very enjoyable stream, Captain. Thank you very much again. Cheers. Well, it was fun doing the encore, but yeah, just you can always whack the mod at 10 miles and quickly set it up and practice approaches until your heart's content. And I think the ZIBO mod autosave function is still broken, but you can still press save and practice multiple approaches, I believe. I think that's still working. Right, so as I said, I've already taxied onto stand, so we'll bring it to a stop here. And yeah, I do need to go get food. Pete, Mrs. Finance wants a dinner, no return leg. Pretty much that's it. But yeah, we've got a lovely bank holiday weekend together. Right, let me get to the replay music up and running, and we'll go from there. There we go. I'll just turn off Fly Live as well. There we go. Yeah, so unfortunately I can only do the replay from when we reloaded, but that's all we need. Let's have a look from the threshold. And for those of you who hate X-Plane, you know, there are some of you, and there's some of you that hate Microsoft Flight Simulator. I love both of them, but you will appreciate X-Plane now for how it handles and how it looks here. So I'm just going to go slow-mo. Let me just turn the sounds up as well and just watch the behaviour of the aircraft in the flare. That is, it's very realistic, just how the aircraft behaves and moves and interacts with your inputs. It's as you'd want to see it. RIP FPS though. Let me just crank the replay back again. It was a nice landing, I was happy with that. I mean, just look at the other. It's just it looks like you're at the airport watching an airplane land. That's it. The flaps jingling around. Yeah, it's a pleasure. It's really enjoyable landing an airplane in this sim. Amazing. One more from tower, and then I'll do one more from the cabin views. A little bit far out of the tower, so I won't get any sounds, unfortunately. Nice flare. It's good. When the wind's down the runway, it is a little easier than any crosswind. But yeah, be interested to compare. Be really interested in the comment section if you want to put your comparisons, what you found between the two. I'll look at some YouTube videos as well. Awesome. Right, what I'll do then, I'll pop you in the wing view so you can enjoy the Ortho 4 XP and approach as if you were a passenger on an Alpaca Airways flight into Billund. Was the speed brake out there? I don't know, but it was all a bit of a mess as I repositioned the aircraft for the on-call. But I'll put you in from about there, that'll do. Perfect. Right, guys, hope you enjoyed the live stream as ever. Great to have seen quite a few of you jumping in and enjoyed flying the ZIBO mod as well. Regarding Active Sky Explain, I think a bit more testing required, but I loved it in XP11. Comparing the landing there, I think the wind in Active Sky Explain was better. It's still in beta, so they need to test it. Don't get me wrong, XP12 default weather is sufficient, but I think ASXP in time will further improve and develop to be better too. To everyone that donated, thanks for your contributions. Thank you for the members for your continued support as members. I appreciate the support. And to all the regular viewers and subscribers, thank you very much for tuning in. Enjoy your bank holiday weekend again if you're in the UK, and the coronation if you are or are not celebrating it. I hope you have a great time, and everyone else outside the UK, have a great weekend too. I'll see you all again very, very soon. Cheerio!